Hey guys, welcome to another episode of 0 to 60.
This is episode 1 of the Project 39, or my E39 build, where we're going to tackle the Android head unit.
So, what have you decided to do for the unit? Why have you gone for an Android?
Because it's basically got everything you could ever want.
Yep.
In terms of smartphone ability, Bluetooth, Wi-Fi, any app you would ever want in your car, and it's all inbuilt in one unit, ready to go.
I like it. These guys should know I like Androids. I have one of my X5. What model have you gone for?
Well, okay, for the E39s, there are a million to choose from online. As you may have noticed when you're buying your X5 one, a lot of people or a lot of sellers will list X5 and E39s as the same unit.
Yes.
They're not, are they? They do have slightly different dashboards.
Yes.
So I found this one that is specifically will suit the E39 dashboard. Actually,
Let's get it out.
I'll pull it out of the box, but I'm yet to actually look at its face in person. Boom. So I like this one because it still looks like the factory E39 unit. You can get ones, well, actually I think your one in the X5 was a complete touchscreen, wasn't it?
It was, yes.
Which, I like the idea of that, but as it's an old, it's basically a classic now, I wanted to keep it kind of looking factory. Whereas this does look pretty much factory, but within that little 7-inch screen, you've got everything you could ever want.
So, just have a quick look at the unit. What were you saying? Just tell everyone what makes the 39s, the form factor different.
Well, it will, okay, so the sellers aren't completely lying. You can bolt it into the E39, the X5 version, and vice versa.
Yep.
But it's the shape of the bezel. The dashboards in the two cars have different lean angles. So if you do bolt one in when it's, or the wrong one in, it just either sticks out or leans into the dashboard, which doesn't look right in my eyes. But I know a lot of people on the E39 groups do just do it anyway, and they're happy with it. But yeah, if you want to get it right, you want to make it look right, you do have to pay attention to the bezel.
And what spec is this exactly? Like RAM and stuff?
Well, again, this one, since your X5 one, there's been quite a few new versions. So there was even more to choose from now. But doing some online research, a lot of people reckon that the newer units running the Android 9 and with the newer processors aren't actually that much quicker. Whereas, and they can do some things quicker, but then lag in other areas. So rather than paying more money for that, I just thought I'll get the exact same specs as what you had in your X5.
We knew that was good.
Yeah, it just worked flawlessly. It was brilliant. So it's obviously a full, well, it's only the 7-inch, but full touchscreen. It's 4 gig of RAM, running Android 8. It is an 8-core unit, and 32 gig of internal memory. And I think the processor is the Cortex AX53.
Cool. All right, we know all that spec's pretty damn good. As for installation, it has got the CAN bus interception, so steering wheel controls are going to work with that.
Yep.
You haven't got the iBus module, but that's going to come shortly, so you won't be able to read the trip meter yet. How are you going to wire it in? So this is, I guess this is going to have to be wired into your factory amp, isn't it?
It will. So again, if you start getting into these units, there's so many different options, particularly with these cars. Some have DSP, some have amps, some don't. Lots of different ones to choose from.
And actually, I'll just touch on this because I learnt this with my X5. The cabling that they come with as standard will only work if your car has no amplifiers. So if you have an amp, the cables they supply won't actually work.
Yes, and the cables are actually, sorry, the amps are in the boot of the car. So you basically have to plug this unit into the amp in the boot. You can actually buy cables, specific cables for that.
Yep.
Which we're in a bit of a rush. I really want to throw this thing in, which is why Andrew's going to help me today. And we haven't got that cable. So Andrew reckons it shouldn't be too hard to actually make that one up.
I'm confident I can make a patch cable.
But if he wasn't here today, I would probably just wait and buy a cable because they're not too expensive. So I'll throw the link into the cable that would work for this car as well.
Yeah, so just to clarify, you only need that cable if you have the DSP or the amp in the boot setup.
Yes.
And we're going to add one other thing, we're going to get your subwoofer working as well. So we will run RCAs from this down into the sub amp, which will be an aftermarket 12-inch doof sick machine.
Yeah, and of course with that you'll need the amp kit, the fuse and the power and the ground and everything, but that's separate. With this, I'm still excited about this unit, all the stuff it comes with. I thought it was pretty cool. It actually comes with a plastic
trim removal tool.
Because you don't damage as much trim with those. Of course it has an instruction manual. I'm not sure, we'll have to pull the original unit out. That must fit into the dashboard somewhere and actually mount the unit, we'll soon see. Obviously the CAN bus module, pretty cool bit of kit to make everything work. Again, I like this unit because it comes with so many different things. You can use it for a dash cam, it's got the DVR option, it's got Wi-Fi, it's got Bluetooth, plug a reversing camera into it. Every sort of app you can imagine. So if you like listening or watching YouTube in your car, you can. If you like listening to audiobooks, you can put Audible on there. Spotify, Google Maps, Waze, it's all built in. So it's pretty cool.
All right, so this isn't going to be a full installation video, but we're just going to work out a bit of a plan. We'll tell you guys what steps we're going to take to install it, and I'll see you in a second.
Okay, I'll just quickly show you the plan of action. Obviously, I'll remove the old unit there, and the big long cable that has to plug into the boot. Going to run behind the dashboard, along the floor. I believe that's going to be the easiest way rather than going up to the roof. I'll have to pull out the rear seats as well and find the hole to get into the boot because it does have like a big metal firewall. And the amp is in this corner. The factory amp is in here, in the rear quarter panel. So we'll have to run the RCAs and the cable that Andrew's going to make into here. Okay, just an update on the interior. We've worked out where we're going to route all the wires, and yeah, obviously we want all the wires hidden so it looks nice and factory, which means quite a lot of interior has had to be removed. Starting from the front, like I said before, we'll come from under the dash, behind the kick panel, under the sill plate, through there. Had to pull the back seats out to find a grommet to get into the boot, but there's one here behind the back seat, which you'll go through there, which is nice. And it'll come out just down there, if you can see that bit of daylight down there. And because the head unit's being changed, we're able to pull all of the things we didn't need, which was the CD stacker, the factory GPS satellite navigation, and this car also has a Alpine DVD player fitted on the roof, which obviously we don't need. So all of that stuff is just extra weight and extra space that was sitting in the boot. So yeah, that was all mounted in here. Literally just a matter of undoing it and pulling it out. And that's the Alpine DVD player, so I'm gonna have to remove that at some point as well. But because I do have the parts car, I do have a whole new hood lining, which can, if there's a hole there where they've mounted that, I'll just put the new hood lining in as well. So that shouldn't be too bad. The next step is to actually remove the factory head unit, which I'm just started. First step is to pull this little fascia, the trim surrounds off, and that uncovers these screws, which hopefully you can see there, one there, and it should just be a matter of undoing those screws, and that entire unit will slide out, and then unplug it. So I'll get into that.
So you may notice it's now dark outside. We got caught up with a customer, so we've actually been away for this for like nearly 5 hours since we were last on camera. But she's all done. It's all installed. No real hiccups. All the wires are fed through the car nicely, neatly, out of sight. The Android head unit is connected into the original harness just here. I hope that sort of makes sense. Now, I made this patch cable up, which are the ones that you can buy online for around the $80 or $90. After going to the hassle of actually making one, always buy one. That took nearly 45 minutes just to make that cable. Have you got anything to add with the install? Because you did most of the dash work.
The only thing is, I think it was a while ago now, but when I turned the camera off, I was just about to pull the head unit out. And if you are using this as like a full how-to, I implied that it was only 2 mounting screws.
Yep.
There are actually a couple of other little mounting screws
On the bottom.
around the bottom. Yeah, so you just check. And then it literally was just those screws that held the original screen and head unit in.
Cool. Now I think we're probably going to do a separate video on sort of all the features of this specific head unit because it's got quite different software to what we had on my Androids. But let's just power it up, show the guys that it's all working.
Oh, did you want to show we can't really see much now, but we've put the sub in, ran the RCAs along with that patch cable.
Yes.
Through the entire length of the car, so that's all hidden. Obviously the battery's only just over here in these things, so it was nice and easy to give the amp power.
And we're running the remote off of the antenna wire that comes from the Android. So actually, again, we'll do a proper review on it, but we'll just boot it up and show you that it makes some noise. And we've only put one app on it at the moment, which is YouTube. Got the favorite channel straight away. And so yeah, audio is working through the factory amp and with the sub for the bass. So it all sounds actually pretty good.
Yeah, it's actually with that sub now and a good audio output. It's actually, you get some decent volume out of the in-car speakers and then some low frequency bass from the sub. It's good.
Yeah, it was a pretty simple install. Feeding the wires was easy. Mounting the head unit to the original mounts was a bit tricky, but it just needed two of us to actually hold it in place and then get the screws in.
Yeah, and some tweaking. Yeah, in terms of like all the wires, it's actually quite easy. Just don't be afraid to pull all of the interior, like as much interior as you need to out, and just be patient with it. As these cars are getting old now, stuff can break, but just be patient, and it's actually not too bad. And the only other thing I wanted to mention, or that's worth mentioning, is, which I didn't even think of, but the onboard computer, the fuel consumption, all that sort of stuff is now gone because that was all done through the factory screen.
So that's why you're going to need that iBus.
Yeah, so that'll be another thing we'll have to install. But it'll be cool to have all those sort of features back and working through here. I know he actually unlocks some more features with it, so that'll be cool as well.
Alright, I think that'll do. If you've enjoyed it, let us know in the comments below. If you've got any questions about installing it into your E39, especially creating those patch cables, or even working out which cable you need for your specific stereo, just let us know below. We'll get onto those comments as quickly as we can. And
I'm going to punch into Waze and check for speed cameras on the way home.
alright, thanks for watching everyone. We'll catch you on the next one.